Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about something we all crave deep down: certainty. We spend so much of our lives chasing answers, chasing outcomes, chasing plans that feel solid. And today, I bring you this message. God said it's all planned for the start of May. Now, before you tune out thinking this is just another hopeful message, I want you to lean in, because this isn't just about faith. This is about understanding how we operate when we know something is certain. Even if we can't see it yet, the power of trusting the invisible. Every great achievement in life starts long before anyone can see it. Every breakthrough begins with an invisible moment, a decision made in private, a belief held firmly in the heart, a vision that has no physical proof yet. Trusting the invisible is one of the most difficult things we'll ever be asked to do. And yet it's the one thing that separates the ones who succeed from the ones who stop short. When God says, it's all planned for the start of May, He is inviting us into a new way of living. He's inviting us to act not based on what we can immediately see, but based on what He has already established in a realm we cannot see yet. Most people live by sight. They only trust what they can measure, touch, prove, or explain. But the invisible plans of God are not subject to our need for proof. They are bigger than our five senses. They require something deeper, something called faith. Faith isn't blind, it's visionary. Faith is the ability to see something with your heart before you ever see it with your eyes. It's the inner conviction that moves you before the evidence appears. Trusting the invisible means you move forward even when the path looks unclear. You prepare even when you have no confirmation. You wake up with expectancy even when nothing around you suggests that change is coming. The moment you realize that what's promised is already finished, just waiting for its time to manifest, you behave differently. You don't let circumstances dictate your emotions. You don't let delays break your spirit. You don't let obstacles convince you to turn around. You anchor yourself in what you believe, not in what you see. You operate from the understanding that if God said it's planned, then it's planned. Your responsibility is not to figure out how or when every detail will unfold. Your responsibility is to keep showing up with the trust that He's already gone ahead of you to prepare what's needed. The invisible work of God is like a seed planted deep in the soil. You can't see the roots growing. You can't see the sprout beginning to form. If you judge the health of the seed by what you see above the ground too soon, you would assume it's dead. But underground, something powerful is happening. Something unseen is taking place. That's exactly how your life works when you trust the invisible hand of God moving in your story. Just because you can't see movement yet doesn't mean nothing's happening. What's invisible today will be undeniable tomorrow. Trusting the invisible isn't passive, it's active. It's the daily choice to get up, show up, and keep going, even when the evidence hasn't caught up yet. It's writing the business plan before you have the investors. It's studying for the exam before you see the acceptance letter. It's praying for your future spouse before you meet them. It's thanking God for the opportunity before it ever knocks on your door. Every step you take while the promise is still invisible builds the foundation for what will become visible. When God says the start of May is planned, He's giving you the permission to stop second guessing yourself. He's giving you the freedom to stop living anxiously. He's inviting you to walk with a calm, quiet confidence, not because you know every detail, but because you trust the one who does. The most powerful thing you can do between now and May is trust what you cannot see. Trust it so much that it changes how you talk. Trust it so deeply that it changes how you walk. Trust it so fully that it becomes more real to you than the doubts trying to stop you. God doesn't ask you to understand the plan. He asks you to trust that there is a plan. And when you trust the invisible, you align yourself with a reality bigger than anything you could imagine on your own. Faith makes the invisible visible. Belief pulls the unseen into the seen. And when the start of May comes, it won't feel like luck. It will feel like the natural unfolding of a promise you trusted before you ever saw it. Preparation is the proof of expectation. Expectation is a powerful force. It shapes how we think, how we move, and how we prepare for what's ahead. The way you prepare today is the clearest evidence of what you truly expect to happen tomorrow. If you believe something great is coming, you get ready for it. If you don't, you hesitate, procrastinate, and operate from a place of doubt. But here's the truth. God has already planned something for the start of May, and if you truly believe that, your actions should reflect it. Preparation is not just a sign of faith, it is faith in motion. Think about a farmer. When a farmer believes that rain is coming, he doesn't wait until he sees the first drop of water to plant his seeds. He starts preparing the soil long before the rain arrives. He plows the land, removes the weeds, and sows the seeds with expectation. Why? Because he understands that preparation must come before the harvest. The harvest is guaranteed, but only to those who prepare for it. This is the same principle that applies to your life. If you truly believe that God has something planned for May, what are you doing now to make room for it? How are you preparing yourself for what is coming? So many people say they are waiting for a breakthrough, but the truth is, the breakthrough is waiting for them to be ready. God does not withhold blessings. He simply waits for us to create the capacity to receive them. He waits for us to get into position, to sharpen our skills, to develop the mindset that can sustain the very thing we are praying for. Imagine an athlete who believes they will be chosen for the championship game, but refuses to train. Imagine a musician who dreams of performing on the biggest stage, but never practices. The belief alone is not enough. The preparation must match the expectation. When you prepare for something, you signal to the universe and to God that you are ready. You are saying, I trust what is coming so much that I'm making room for it before I even see it. Look at your own life right now. What is something you've been praying for? A new opportunity, a relationship, a financial breakthrough? Whatever it is, ask yourself, am I actually prepared for it? If the opportunity knocked on my door tomorrow, would I be ready to receive it? Would I be able to handle it? Preparation is not just about physical readiness. It's also about mental and emotional readiness. It's about becoming the version of yourself who can sustain the blessing once it arrives. Too often, people ask for things they are not prepared to handle. They pray for financial increase, but don't have the discipline to manage money. They ask for a leadership role, but haven't developed the character to handle responsibility. They desire deep, meaningful relationships, but haven't done the internal work to become a good partner. The truth is, you don't rise to the level of your dreams. You rise to the level of your preparation. If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that something life-changing was coming in May, what would you start doing today? Would you start waking up earlier? Would you start organizing your schedule differently? Would you finally take action on the ideas you've been sitting on? When you believe in something strongly enough, you don't wait to see it before you start moving. You act as if it's already done. That's what faith looks like. Faith doesn't sit and wait. It moves and prepares. One of the greatest examples of preparation in expectation is found in Noah. God told him to build an ark because a flood was coming. At that time, there was no rain, no storm clouds, nothing to suggest that a flood was even possible. And yet Noah didn't wait for proof. He started building, day after day, hammering, constructing, and preparing for something that the world around him couldn't see. People probably mocked him, doubted him, and questioned his sanity. But Noah wasn't focused on what people thought. He was focused on what God said. And because he prepared in expectation, when the flood finally came, he was ready. This is what God is calling you to do. You don't need to see the full picture. You don't need to understand every detail of how things will unfold. You just need to trust that what He has spoken is already set in motion. If May is the appointed time, then now is the time to prepare. Start clearing out the distractions. Start developing the habits that align with the next level of your life. Start speaking, acting, and thinking like someone who knows the promise is coming, not someone who hopes it will come. The truth is, the way you prepare today determines the way you will step into your future. Preparation is not just about getting things ready, it's about becoming ready yourself. The greatest blessings don't just come to those who want them, they come to those who are ready to handle them. God doesn't give us what we ask for. He gives us what we are prepared for. So the question is not whether May will bring something great. The question is whether you will be ready when it does. Why timing matters. Timing is one of the most underestimated forces in life. People talk a lot about talent, they talk a lot about hard work, they even talk a lot about luck. But they often forget that timing can make the difference between success and failure, between frustration and fulfillment, between wandering and winning. When God says that something is planned for the start of May, He is not being random or vague. He is revealing a truth about timing, that there is a right moment, an appointed season, a divinely orchestrated window when things are meant to happen. Understanding this principle can transform how you handle the waiting, how you handle the obstacles, and how you handle yourself. Timing matters because even the right thing at the wrong time can cause damage. Imagine trying to harvest crops before they have fully ripened. You would end up with bitter fruit and wasted effort. Imagine forcing open a rose, bud before it naturally blooms. You would destroy something beautiful simply because you couldn't wait. In life, just like in nature, there is a sequence, a rhythm, a divine order. You are not waiting because you are forgotten. You are waiting because the environment around you and the environment within you are still aligning to produce the best possible result. If you move too early, you step out of alignment. If you move too late, you might miss the moment. But when you move at the right time, with the right preparation, miracles happen. God's timing is always strategic. Every delay, every detour, every pause is not wasted time. It is preparation time. It is set-up time. It is foundation time. Think about building a house. No one gets excited about digging the foundation. No one claps when the concrete is poured and left to harden. But that invisible part of the process is what determines whether the house can stand strong when storms come. In the same way, your life has foundations being built that you cannot always see. You may feel stuck, you may feel overlooked, you may feel like you are behind, but God is not behind. His plan is unfolding exactly on schedule, and when May comes, it will not be a moment too soon or a moment too late. When you understand that timing matters, you stop comparing your journey to other people's journeys. Someone else's blessing in April does not mean you are late. Obedience positions you for the promise. Obedience is not a popular word in today's world. In a culture that celebrates independence, self-will, and doing things your own way, obedience sounds outdated, even restrictive. But when it comes to walking in the plan God has for your life, obedience is not optional, it is essential. Obedience is what positions you for the promise. It is the bridge between what God has spoken and what you are about to experience. When God says, it's all planned for the start of May, He's not just informing you of a future event. He's calling you into a posture of trust, a life of action based on His instruction rather than your own understanding. Obedience is powerful because it proves that you trust the one who gave the instruction. It's easy to say we believe, but the real proof of belief is whether or not we follow through. True obedience is not selective. It doesn't pick and choose which commands to follow based on comfort or convenience. True obedience moves when God says move, even if the terrain looks unfamiliar. It steps forward even when the emotions are uncertain. It listens closely, not trying to negotiate a better deal, but accepting that the creator of the universe knows more about timing, people, opportunities, and outcomes than we ever could. When you obey, even without all the answers, you place yourself exactly where you need to be for God's plan to unfold. Look through every major move of God in Scripture, and you will find men and women who obeyed before they understood. Abraham left his home without knowing where he was going. Moses returned to Egypt despite his fears. Esther approached the king, risking her life on nothing but a word from God. Obedience unlocked the next chapter every single time. Not perfect obedience, but willing obedience. The kind that says, I don't have to see the full staircase to take the next step. Obedience often feels uncomfortable because it stretches us beyond what's familiar. It demands that we trust timing that doesn't always match our own. It demands that we hold on to promises that seem delayed. It demands that we give up control, and for many of us, control feels like security. But the irony is that real security is not found in controlling the outcome. It's found in surrendering to the one who controls it all. Every time you choose obedience over comfort, you are sowing seeds that will produce a harvest you can't even imagine yet. It's important to realize that delayed obedience is still disobedience. Every time God nudges your heart, gives you an instruction, prompts you to act, it's because the timing of that action is part of a larger orchestration you cannot see. Waiting until it's easier, more convenient, or more socially acceptable is not what faith looks like. Faith looks like immediate action, even when your knees are shaking. Faith looks like stepping out of the boat even when the waves are high. Faith looks like preparing the ark even when there's not a cloud in the sky. Your obedience doesn't make God's plan happen. His plan is already in motion. But your obedience positions you to be in the right place to receive what He's already prepared. Obedience doesn't earn the promise, it aligns you with it. Think of it like catching a train. The train is already scheduled to come at a certain time. You don't make it come by standing on the platform. But if you're not there when it arrives, you miss it. Obedience is showing up at the platform, trusting that God will keep His word, even when you don't see the train approaching yet. Obedience also builds strength within you that you will need for the promise. It forms habits of trust, resilience, patience, and humility. It deepens your ability to hear God's voice more clearly. It strips away pride, self-sufficiency, and fear. By the time the promise arrives, you won't just have the blessing, you'll have the character to sustain it. You won't just step into a new season externally. You will have grown into the person who is ready to handle it internally. As May approaches, the question is not just whether you believe God has planned something. The deeper question is whether you are living in a way that shows your belief. Are you following the last instruction He gave you? Are you stepping out when He says step? Are you moving in obedience even when it costs you comfort? Obedience is not about perfection. It's about willingness. It's about saying yes to God even when everything in you wants to play it safe. And that yes is what sets you up to walk fully into everything He has prepared. Would you like me to expand step 5 as well? This series is coming together beautifully. 4 you said, expand step 5 key point with main heading and without ant subheadings and conclusion in 6. 100 words, ChatGPT said. Stay expectant and watchful. There's a different energy that comes over you when you are truly expectant. Expectation sharpens your senses. It awakens your spirit. It lifts your head when you're tempted to bow it in discouragement. Staying expectant and watchful is not about sitting around and hoping something will happen. It's an active, intentional mindset that prepares you to recognize the move of God the moment it shows up. God said it's all planned for the start of May, and now your assignment is to stay in a posture of alertness, so that you don't miss what you've been waiting and working for. When you are expectant, you don't just casually stroll through your days. You lean in, you pay attention, you start seeing signs that other people miss. Expectation causes you to spot opportunity where others only see routine. It causes you to pick up on divine hints, small whispers, open doors, unusual conversations that are signaling the bigger thing God is orchestrating. Staying expectant is about living every day like today could be the day that something shifts, something unlocks, something accelerates. And even if it doesn't happen today, you wake up tomorrow with the same fire in your heart. Watchfulness is deeply connected to faith. In fact, it's one of the purest forms of faith. When you are watchful, you are saying with your actions, I believe something is coming and I refuse to miss it. Watchfulness requires spiritual sensitivity. It requires that you quiet the noise around you so that you can hear the still, small voice of God when He moves. It requires that you resist the urge to get distracted by disappointment, frustration, or fatigue. It's so easy to let weariness steal your watchfulness. After all, waiting can feel long. But when you know the arrival time is near, you stay alert. Imagine waiting for a loved one at the airport. If you know they're coming at any moment, you don't sit back and fall asleep. You keep checking the arrivals board. You keep scanning the crowd. Every time a door opens, your heart jumps a little because you know it could be them. That's the kind of posture God is calling you to have right now. The start of May isn't just another month, it's a divine appointment. And if you stay expectant and watchful, you won't be caught off guard. You'll be ready to step into what's been prepared for you. One of the dangers in this season is growing numb because you've been waiting for so long. The enemy loves to use the weapon of discouragement to get you to stop expecting. If he can get you to believe that nothing's happening, you'll stop preparing. If he can get you to think that it's all just wishful thinking, you'll miss the very moment that heaven breaks through. That's why staying expectant is not just a nice idea, it's spiritual warfare. It's a declaration of faith that says, I still believe, I'm still watching, I'm still ready. Expectancy energizes your actions. It sharpens your prayers. It intensifies your praise. When you expect something good, you pray differently. You don't beg, you thank. You don't plead, you prepare. Your language shifts from if it happens to when it happens. You start celebrating ahead of time. You start organizing your life like you're about to receive what you've been praying for. Staying expectant causes you to make bold decisions, to walk with a lifted head, and to treat every day as sacred ground because you know something is unfolding even if you can't see it yet. God responds to expectancy. All throughout Scripture, Jesus responded to those who came to him with expectation. The woman with the issue of blood didn't just hope she would be healed. She expected that if she touched the hem of his garment, something would happen. And because of her expectation, she received what others standing nearby did not. The same principle applies today. God meets people at the level of their faith, and expectancy is one of the loudest expressions of faith you can demonstrate. The start of May has been marked by heaven. You are standing on the edge of something significant. Don't let the enemy steal your watchfulness. Don't let your past disappointments dull your spirit. Stay sharp. Stay hungry. Stay watchful. Live every day between now and then like you are moments away from a miracle, because you are. And when it happens, you'll be ready, not surprised, not scrambling, but standing in confidence, fully aligned, fully prepared, fully awake to the goodness of God breaking into your life.